is Step 1 with Freddie Wilson. Welcome to another episode of Step 1. I am Freddie Wilson. As a reminder, you can find every episode of Step 1 on Spotify and YouTube. And if you want to see more Step 1, give me a follow on Instagram at Step 1 with Freddie Wilson and Twitter at Step 1 Podcasts. We got a great show for you today. My good friend, Jermey Spiera, is coming back to the show. We're going to talk a little college hoops. We got a Heisman winner in Travis Hunter, and Bill Belichick is now a college coach. All right, let's ride. All right, let's start with some college football news. Travis Hunter won the Heisman, which, let's be honest, we're not surprised about at this point. He was the best player at two different positions. He dominated all season long. It was a no-brainer. He was going to be the Heisman. It was a close race. Ashton Jeanty also had an awesome season, and I do think he will use this as motivation to playoff. So whoever plays Boise State, watch out. Also, Bill Belichick is now a college coach at UNC. Now, does this make sense? No, it absolutely doesn't. A mid-level college program is beneath him. I know he's a great coach, but he's an old school coach. He needs to find the right type of guys to buy into what he's selling. I know he's trying to build like an NFL factory. That's kind of hard to do. I want him to succeed. I think it'd be awesome if he is not only a great NFL coach, but a great college coach, but it's hard to do both. They're two very different landscapes. That being said, North Carolina is going to give him all the tools to help. They're going to give him time because it's not like they have expectations. It's North Carolina football. So, if they're bad a couple years, they'll ride it because they have nothing to lose. They're a basketball school. They don't care about football down in North Carolina. Moving to the NFL, we had a fun weekend of football. It'll start on Thursday with the division showdown that featured no touchdowns between the Rams and 49ers. 49ers are injured, they're banged up, they're struggling. The Rams, on the other hand, are doing what they can to make a big playoff push. It was a boring game, but the Rams did enough to win. Moving into Sunday, as I predicted, the morning slot was not that exciting. The best game was a game that did not matter at all between the Jets and Jaguars, but it was just a fun game. Too bad it didn't have any playoff implications at all. And honestly, I think the loser benefited more because they might get a better draft pick. The Chiefs got a rare two-score win, but Patrick Mahomes might be injured. Now, this happens every year. The Chiefs get Patrick Mahomes injured. It looks bad. And then somehow every year he plays through the pain, they win the Super Bowl, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Plus, no way is the NFL going to let him miss the Christmas Day game that's only on Netflix. That's just not going to happen. Moving to the afternoon, the Broncos got a big win. Could we just acknowledge that at the start of the season, I said the Broncos will have 9 wins. And look at them now. They have 9 wins and counting because they aren't done yet. I know Bo Nix had a bad game, but they're a good team, and their defense is going to keep them in games. Also, the Eagles got a monster win against the Steelers. The Steelers are still good, but I don't think their offense is good enough to win against really good teams, and it showed. And finally, the Bills and Lions played for the ages where Jared Goff threw 5 touchdowns and still lost. This could be a Super Bowl matchup, and I really want to see it. The Bills, when they're firing on all cylinders, they're unstoppable. And also, the Lions lost David Montgomery, which is another huge blow, but Dan Campbell isn't worried about that or the fact that they lost the Bills. He says this loss is a wake-up call. So, to the rest of the NFL, watch out because they might bust some more kneecaps. And on Sunday night, the Packers got a monster win in Seattle. The Packers are good. We need a win next week, and we'll be in the playoffs. We can win in a variety of different ways. And if we play our brand of football, which is just old school smash mouth football with Josh Jacobs running all over teams, no one can stop us. And the defense is awesome. It's a way better Packers team than last year. And I do think we're going to play our best football come playoff time. Moving into Monday, 2 blowout games. The Bears and the Raiders are just terrible. And apparently for the Falcons, despite winning, maybe they're having a slim chance making the playoffs. They're starting Michael Penix next week. I know we're playing the Giants, but still. I know Kirk Cousins isn't playing great. I know he's a little banged up, but he's experienced and he can win games. And this is not the time, in my opinion, for him to be bringing in Michael Penix. And now, let's get to my interview with Jermey Spiera. All right, Tim, welcome on. I don't know how many times you've been on the show at this point. You've been on a lot. We're here to talk some basketball. Jermey Spiera in the building. Spiera, welcome back. How are you? It has been a minute since you've been on the show.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I think this is number 5.
This is number 5. Oh, I did say if I ever had 5-time guests, I'd make you a shirt. So,
Oh, fuck yeah. Let me get
I
a shirt.
did say that. All right, I got to make it, but one day I will.
Do I get just like a massive big head of you in the shirt? That's all
I haven't even thought about the shirt because I said this so long ago. I didn't think the show was going to still be on.
Got to say Freddie's 5-time fan club.
Anyways, let's talk a little basketball. We'll start with some college ball. Your Duke boys are looking good. Cooper Flag's great. Like, he's everything you wanted, right?
Yeah, the dude's actually, he might have just turned 18 a few days ago, but the kid was 17, and he's got it all. He's pretty strong for a 17-year-old, and if he learns how to not turn the ball over with less than a minute left in the game, he's going to be a pretty good player.
He's everything. He is up to the hype. Duke's going to be a force to reckon with all season long. So your Duke boys are good. I will say, though, my Oregon Ducks, though, I think, like football, we wanted to go to the Big Ten with a bang, and I think we're doing that.
Well, you guys haven't even started in Big Ten play yet.
We played UCLA. We didn't win, but, you know.
Yeah,
we lost on the luckiest shot possible, like with 0.2 seconds left. It was like a 3 Biddle, our 7'2" center, was all up in his grill, and somehow we got it over him. The point being is I think we built it for the portal, which is, is a way to do it. It's not like, I wouldn't say it's a long-term strategy, but I think and I think you can make the argument for a lot of teams, but especially like Oregon, new teams and new conferences, like you want to impress your first season. So I think Oregon went to the portal, got some dudes to just have this. Are we going to be good next season? I don't know, but I think we want to be good this season just to show we belong in the Big Ten.
Yeah, long-term strategies aren't the same in college basketball right now with NIL, though.
Yeah, it's so different with how NIL and like the portal is. Like, you can build a team for a year, and I mean that's what Purdue did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a Purdue game, actually. Great atmosphere, love it. But like, you can see what like Purdue did last year worked because they knew they had a generational talent, Zach Edey. But Zach Edey,
talent. Okay, keep talking after you just
a 7'4". Okay, not generational talent, but a very good
7'4" person. He's a very good player, but
he's a tall dude.
Yes, he's a tall dude.
And he was very good, but he was also like, some teams figured him out. So what Purdue did last year was they surrounded him with shooters. So if they just collapsed on him, he could kick it out to them. The problem is they still have all those shooters, but now they have no guy to rebound the ball. So, they won when I was there. They beat Maryland, which I think Maryland is going to be a sneaky good team, by the way.
I haven't watched them play, but that's your hot take of the year?
That is my hot take of the college football or college basketball season, is that the Maryland Terrapins, go Terps, might actually be a sneaky good team.
Okay.
They got, I don't know the dude's name. He's one of the big men. He was Cooper Flag's teammate in high school, I want to say. And he's a stud. Like, I don't know his name. I'll get his name later. But he's a stud. So, I think number 25 on Maryland basketball.
All right, I'm looking this up for you.
Oh,
Derek
thanks.
Queen.
Sounds about right. He's pretty good.
Derik.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. He spelled his name wrong, but other than that, it's
one way to spell potato.
Potato, yeah.
All right. Are there any teams that you've seen this year that you're like, I'm surprised that team's good?
I think that it's a little hard right now. Like, the ACCs look pretty bad, I would say, in the beginning of the season.
Well, Virginia is rebuilding, so you got one big name out.
Virginia is so boring to watch. It's frustrating to watch any of their basketball games. But the ACC has definitely lost a lot of games. But Pitt has been looking good, which I wasn't. I obviously am focusing on the ACC. That's who I watch the most.
Mm-hmm.
But big Capel fan. Pitt's going to be good. They're well coached, and they've been slowly getting better every single year for the past like 10 years. So I'm excited to see what happens to them in ACC play. I think they'll be a real player. Obviously, you got Duke and UNC who are going to be towards the top there. You got Virginia who can lick my nutsack, and then I think Pitt can be up there to be a real challenger in there.
Let's not forget about your newcomers, Cal and Sanford. Obviously, they're going to make a huge splash in ACC.
They're just going to make all these games at bad times, and now
it's going to be you're going to be watching like
times.
If Duke goes to play them, you're going to be up at like 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. watching Duke basketball like a Wednesday night in January.
Or more accurately, I'm going to sleep like a baby while we beat them by 20.
I mean, that could also happen. Yeah, Cal and Sanford, you forget, like, they kind of forgot if it's going to pass down to basketball. So, like, Cal and Sanford have a terrible travel schedule. Not like playing schedule, just travel schedule.
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to end up having these teams do these like longer road trips where they're playing 2 games on the road.
At least like you can go play Cal Sanford back to back and at least be on the West Coast for a few days.
Agree, but I'm just thinking about my life as a manager. That would have been a really
that would have been a grind.
That would have been a grind because you got a Saturday game and then a Tuesday game or something like that, or a Thursday, Sunday or whatever. Which means you're away from campus for almost a week. You're on the other side of the school of the country. You're playing these 2 games, and then you're coming right back and maybe have a few more days before you have another game. It's just it changes your season, and it changes. Like, look for things like trap games before they leave, before they come back. For any team that's going to play those guys, it's going to be pretty easy to be locked into those games because when you're all the way on the other side of the country, you don't have like your regular, you don't have your regular social life there. You don't have anything to really focus on other than basketball. But you're going to see like in the few games before, the few days after, the games that happen then. I feel like those are trap games that are going to end up being interesting. Are they focused when they come back to school after having been away for 5 days? Or are they thinking ahead to these long road trips that they've never done before?
All right, I actually have a question about like just the travel schedule. So when you were traveling with a team, like let's say like you had 2 road games in a row on like a Thursday and Sunday, would you go back to campus in between the 2, or what would you do in between the games?
Yeah, after a road game, you go straight back to Durham. So
regardless of where it is, like let's say you're playing Virginia Tech. Would you go to Virginia on a Thursday, go back to Durham, and then go to Tech on Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, so you wouldn't even stay?
They don't schedule that like that, or they didn't do that in the past with these multi.
Okay, maybe not, but that must have been a Pac-12 thing because like the Pac-12, if you played Utah, you go play Colorado right after.
Yeah, the ACC didn't have to have that because it was actually Atlantic Coast Conference, but now it's just CC Coast Conference, and now you're going across country. So it wasn't really like that for basketball in the past.
All right, maybe it was just different in Pac-12. So, no, it was always like go there, fly. Would you go that morning? Would you go the night before? Like,
you'd go the day before, and then after the game, you either have a really happy flight where everyone sleeps or a really sad and angry flight where everyone sleeps.
Does Duke do it? Because I know for a fact, just because I saw my dad once saw him at an ice cream shop nearby. I know when NC State won a game, they would go get ice cream. Does Duke have a post win thing, or is it all business?
I mean, for me as a manager, does getting super drunk and peeing all over myself at the bar count?
No. Like, would a team go get ice cream, or would you like go do not go do an activity, but would you like go get ice cream maybe? Like you're in middle school?
No, I think there was like most of the game, like, or most of the traditions and everything didn't really last after the game. So after the game, you locker room and then whatever people want to do. It's more up to them.
Well, I mean, people have media. Some guys have media, right?
Well, immediately after a game, there's media, and then there's all the players need to get changed, and they have they have to go to the trainers, and some of them go in the ice bath. There's obviously the like physically getting ready or post prep. But I'm talking, but there's no like real team traditions about what to do after games.
I mean, I just knew NC State had one because they wanted Cabot's Ice Cream in Newton, Massachusetts, after they beat Boston College, and apparently, like, because they went up to, apparently they asked like the coach or like a manager or team, like, "Hey, we get ice cream after we win. Where do you guys go?" And the funny thing is it's not exactly near campus. Like, it's not near it, but like, I want to consider it like a local spot for Boston College students.
Well, do they ask about BC student, or do they just
I
ask like,
I
a
don't know
random
who
dude?
they asked, but the whole team showed up.
Did they ask someone who works for that particular chain of ice cream?
It's not even a chain; it's just a one local place.
Even worse, they asked for someone who works for that singular, sad, shitty chain of ice
It
cream.
is not a. It is an iconic place. It is like the greatest.
If it's a
It is
well-known place, then yeah, I mean, they
like
probably
it.
don't want to
It
go
is
to
an
like
old school ice cream parlor. You don't find these anymore.
soft serve or
Oh, they
scoop.
do it all.
Oof,
Yogurt too. You name it, they got it.
you lost me at yogurt. You had me at old
Frozen
fashioned.
yogurt.
No, I know, but you had me at old fashioned. You lost me at yogurt.
I know, but like you name it, they got it. It's just a classic old school.
Do
All
they
right.
have poop flavor?
I bet they do. I bet if you come there after
They
beating,
do.
if you come after beating Boston College, you like get that hoop flavor.
No poop.
Poop? Oh, probably not.
So then, if I name it, they didn't have it.
Okay, yeah, they don't.
I'm just trying to get you to admit to your entire fan base on this podcast that you just spewing random not true facts out over here.
I mean, that's kind of what the show is. You got me right there. Like, uh, I went on the show saying Bo Nix was going to be Rookie of the Year, and obviously yesterday was a regression, but he still won the game. His
Bo Nix
is a
was
god amongst men. Thank
trying
you.
to give me a heart attack in fantasy football with 3 interceptions, nothing valuable.
2 touchdowns. Thank you.
Yeah, the last touchdown saved him to be only having a pretty terrible week, but I
Two
picked him up.
touchdowns.
I played him over Jordan Love, who wouldn't have been much better at either. They were both pretty bad.
You mean my 2 favorite quarterbacks?
Yeah, 2 of the most average quarterbacks in the league.
Bo Nix was a Heisman candidate. That's college, but
That's college. Johnny Manziel was sick in college.
Johnny Manziel was sick in college. Gig him. He was at the Heisman. He made an appearance. Shockingly, he's starting to gradually make more media appearances. Are we a pro Johnny Manziel podcast? We're a pro Johnny Manziel in 2012 podcast.
I feel like we have to be a pro Johnny Manziel podcast.
I mean, he is a legend. Like
Johnny Manziel's a legend. He's pretty fratty.
But I didn't really watch him when he was like in his heyday. Like I knew the name, but I didn't realize like what he was and how good he was.
No, whenever you're having a slow day, just watch some Johnny Manziel college highlights, and you'll.
Well, I watched Joe Burrow's Heisman speech when I need motivation.
No, I did not know you watch his Heisman speech when you need motivation.
When I need some motivation, I watch Joe Burrow's Heisman speech. It really gets me motivated. just the way he like thinks his own line first. Talks about how Athens County, Ohio, has a lot of kids who don't have a lot of food on the table.
Freddie,
and, like,
can you do a recreation of parts from the speech that you have memorized right now?
I mean, I'm kind of going through it. He talks about.
No, I know, but say the words he says, and in the manner in which he says it.
I can't do that. I wouldn't want to do Joe dirty like that. But
this is an impersonation-free podcast.
I respect Joe Burrow too much to do him dirty like that. But he talks about how Athens County, Ohio, like has a lot of kids who don't have a whole lot of food. He's like, this could be you up there. And you know what that did? Raise a bunch of money for Athens, Ohio Food Bank. Like, look what it's just an A+ speech. Like, you can't beat it. Like, yeah, like Travis.
Athletes just do great things for their community, like him and Brett Favre. It's the same thing. Him and Brett Favre.
Yeah, I wouldn't compare Brett Favre to Joe Burrow. I mean, we're a Brett Favre podcast. A Brett Favre pre-2009 podcast.
You are a pro Brett Favre guy?
Pre-2009.
So is this before or after he
way before.
How about when he let that dude? I've been seeing these reports recently. Brett Favre let a dude sack him to break a record.
Allegedly.
He took a pretty convenient tumble.
Well, anyways, Brett Favre, that was towards the beginning of my Packer fandom. I remember watching some of those games. Honestly, I don't remember any of the wins. The only one I remember is the one he lost. Like my
You
first,
remember his losses and him taking money from the homeless.
well, that too. But yeah, most distinct memory of Brett Favre was his final Packers game. To be honest, the one where he lost to the Giants, and then the Giants obviously
The
won a Super
Giants
Bowl.
usually the Giants don't get the better of many franchises except for the Packers
What are you talking about? We beat the
and
Giants
Raiders.
last time we were in the playoffs.
Are you talking about the recent Giants? You mean the Giants that have one win?
No, no,
Maybe
no.
two?
Last time the Giants were in the playoffs, which is when Eli and Odell were still doing it.
No, the Giants were in the playoffs with
Oh
Daniel
yeah,
Jones.
I forgot about that.
They're in the playoffs with Daniel Jones.
I forgot that. Yeah. All right, let's talk about Daniel Jones. Do you think he's going to get another opportunity ever again, or do you think it's over?
100% he will. Okay, I can't wait for the rest of the NFL to be filled with failed New York quarterbacks who are good there. We're going to have Geno Smith. We're going to have Sam Darnold. Wait for it. Before you know it, Zach Wilson's going to be a starting quarterback somewhere. We're going to have
Where?
Daniel Jones. Zach
Where?
Wilson is going to be the starting
Zach
quarterback
Wilson got beat out by Bo Nix, as he should. Bo Nix is a better quarterback.
on the Raiders. He's going to be on the Raiders, and he's going to go off. He's going to be the new Derek
Zach
Carr.
Wilson is too vanilla for the Raiders. He's not that bad boy energy the Raiders have.
The Raiders don't have that bad boy energy since they left Oakland. He's going to bring the shittier, more cut version of what new Raiders football is going to look like. It's going to be terrible. No one's going to want to see it, but he's going to be back into a starting quarterback. Sam Darnold is going to be a stud for a long time. Geno Smith already made his recovery. Before you know it, Mark Sanchez is going to come out of retirement. He's going to be QBing in the NFL, and it's just going to be Jets everywhere. And
Jets and Giants everywhere. So Daniel Jones is going to get an opportunity somewhere, you think?
No, realistically, I think he will. I think he's better than a decent amount. I don't think he's better than.
Who's he better than? Because, like, I know the Giants are the Giants, but, like, he never looked that good. He looked like an average quarterback at best.
So he looked like an average quarterback with the worst offensive line in the NFL that we've seen in years. If you give him if you put him in Sam Darnold's situation, I'm not saying he's even going to be as good as Darnold is, but Darnold's had an incredible season. I'm saying he's going to be good. I think if you put him in Green Bay, I think he does what Jordan Love does.
Yeah, well, we don't want him in Green Bay. We got our guy, and his name is Jordan Love.
I'm just saying I think that Daniel Jones, he has enough legs to make things happen. He's got a powerful arm, though he's honestly not that consistent. But he also is not that consistent because he's getting hit 30 times a game.
Yeah, I think New York was a bad fit for him. I think you blamed a quarterback because that's what you do. Because again, they're not ready to blame Dable yet.
Any organization who's going to do to a quarterback what they did to Daniel Jones, playing him as backup safety in practice, that's just straight up.
They also paid him an absurd amount of money and got rid of their arguably franchise best running back.
Yeah, getting rid of Saquon was stupid. They paid him a little bit above market rate, but he was the best available quarterback at the time they paid him.
I mean, I don't say don't pay him, but if you had to choose between him or Saquon, I would have picked Saquon every day of the week.
Of course, don't blame him for that. That's the Giants.
I don't blame Daniel Jones. I blame the Giants. Yeah, I think the Giants set Daniel Jones up for failure.
Yeah, and now, I mean, it's not like our passing has been any good since he's left. With
Tommy, you have more
Tommy
quarterbacks
DeVito.
who have played than wins.
Yeah, that's tough.
You had who was it? Tim Boyle yesterday in there. DeVito got injured.
Boyle, DeVito.
I was really hoping for DeVito to go off, and it just has not happened.
Look, somebody's got to give Tommy DeVito's agent has got to. They've got to make a reality TV show out of this guy because he made Tommy DeVito a household name off of absolutely no talent and like 2 garbage wins.
Tommy DeVito was just himself. And Tommy DeVito doing this, living with his mom, the chicken cutlets. Like, it was just... We loved Tommy DeVito on this podcast. Except for that time he beat the Packers. Hated when he beat the Packers.
Was that the game we went to together?
Yes, that was the game we went to.
It was.
Go Pack, go. I just remember like when the Packers like score to go up. I just remember like bear hugging some random Packers fan, which happens from time to time.
Does happen.
You
Wait,
know,
is this a pro NBA Cup podcast?
I like the NBA Cup. I
Have you
can't
been
say.
following?
I mean, I've been disappointed Celtics didn't make it to Vegas.
Well, yeah, that was.
Atlanta. All right, we can talk about the NBA. Atlanta's looking good. That's the
I'm
only team I know. Like that team's better than they should be, and I think they're healthier, which helps.
Atlanta's been playing well. They've just got a lot of length and athleticism. Jalen Johnson is the bane of my existence. He ruined my senior year of college by dropping out of the team after playing like absolute dog shit.
Was he a Duke boy?
He dropped out. He quit the team or whatever midway through the season after playing like absolute dog shit. Was not like was our team was terrible before and after he left. We honestly weren't any better or worse without him, but we were supposed to be good or we were supposed to be decent, and we ended up going like 500 on the season my senior year, COVID time, so we had no fans, no anything. It was the worst year of college sports ever.
I remember just seeing you on TV, like, just like going like this with your buddy.
Oh yeah, because we were the only ones celebrating. So normally managers are supposed to be stoic, but that year, but during games we could get loud because the stadium was so loud. But that year it was empty. So if we were screaming and we were cheering our guys on, which we should be, we were the only ones we were hearing in the court, and it was.
That's gonna be kind of cool. Like, I know it's weird, but what was it colder? I know it was not a great year because you had no fans. Like, did it feel weird like that first like game or two? Like you're just like walking there, like there are no fans here, like, and it was dead silent.
Yeah, every game was weird. It was just it felt like a practice. It was really boring. That's the truth. Every game felt like a practice. None of it was intense.
Yeah, because you don't have the fans like scream. Like it just feels weird.
Yeah. And also, like I couldn't curse at the players like I would want to because
Did you actually do that? You talked
when
about the
nobody
story
could hear me. When no one could hear me, I would think
because I
about
know
doing
you
it.
talked about that story about you and that Louisville fan.
Oh yeah, no, that one was fun.
I've heard you talked about that story your first time on the show. How you and a Louisville fan got into it.
Yeah, that Louisville fan can suck it. They fucking sucked, and we beat their asses. No, like we're usually not whatever, but when it's loud, you can get more into it. And then when it was silent, we were still into it, but it was just.
Do you ever get an egg on the Cameron Crazies at home games? Did you ever like try to get them? Like they don't really need it. They're always there bringing their A game.
Not at all. It's supposed to be stoic. There was one. I have one memory of the Duke Blue Devil, the mascot, once brought the camera to me and was trying to get me hyped up, but I was in working game. I was in business face. I never wanted to punch that mascot in the face harder than that moment. I just stood there stoic, looked at him, looked at the camera, looked at him, and then walked away, and it was very funny.
All right, I don't know how much you know about this, but the Cameron Crazies, I know that is a hard season ticket to get, like as a student. I've heard stories like there's like campouts and stuff. Like, what is the process like?
There's no season tickets. You camp out for every individual game.
You camp out for every individual game.
Yeah, but like if you're playing, when we were playing Incarnate Ward, for example, we played some weird team a few weeks ago. That you're gonna have to just wait a few hours before the game tops. When you're playing against Virginia, you
or
might
UNC.
Have to camp for a few nights. UNC, there's a whole like you're camping for pretty much the entire semester. And then
you're camping the entire semester for one game.
For a few weeks, yeah. For like.
And what do you do during this camp out? Like, why would
you just you have a tent with a certain number of people? There's like a few different types of tents. You have black tent, blue tent. I don't remember exactly which one's which because I never had to do it. But
yeah, because you just got to go to the games. Lucky you.
Yeah, all I had to do was like go to every practice and every game. And
work 30 hours a week.
But yeah, so there was like a trivia or a scavenger hunt to see who gets to camp. to camp out. Then there's a different
Oh
camp
wait,
out.
you have to earn a you have to earn a privilege just to camp out.
Yes,
That's a process. So are you
there's just
saying
too many
there's
people.
students who like want to go to games their entire like time at Duke who just never get to go to a game?
I
Or
mean, a UNC game, yeah, but if they want to go to a game, they can go to. There's a lot of games that are very easy to go to.
okay.
But like those games, they pretty much you have like a tent of 5 people, and you need to have 2 people in there at all times or whatever. So you need to coordinate with your tent to figure out these 2 people are sleeping there this night. These 2 people are sleeping there this
Yeah,
night.
when do you go to class?
It's college. Who cares about class?
I did. Oregon was way easier. Well, obviously Oregon's not like as big of a basketball school. Oregon was like, except for like the women's year with Sabrina, like it was basically like, oh, do you want to go to the game day? Go into your app. Okay, we're going to the game.
Yeah,
Very different experience. Like maybe like for a bigger game, you just had to be on the app like earlier in the week. But like I remember the women's year, like that was a hot ticket.
yeah. An app would be nice, but I think part of it is like we don't tailgate for football games, so this is the only kind
Wait,
of.
do you not tailgate for football games? Do students not tailgate, or does no one tailgate for football games?
Nobody tailgates for football games.
Well, how do you pregame for football games? You just like you're gonna
Nobody pre-games and nobody goes. It's really
even when they
that
were
simple.
good.
Yeah, we were top 25. We hit top 25. I think my freshman and sophomore year.
I mean, my bold take was you were going to beat Miami this year. It didn't work out, but someone beat Miami.
Yeah, I mean Miami not making the
I'm all for that.
playoffs. I know, but the ACC.
First of all, if any team was going to make it that didn't make it, it was going to be Bama.
I know, but the college football has made it very clear that they think the ACC is a terrible conference, and it doesn't matter what.
Well, they think the ACC outside of Clemson and it used to be Florida State. Well, Florida State was awful this year.
Well, Florida State, they made it very clear when Florida State went
undefeated.
Oh, wait,
shit. No, they don't give a shit about Florida State.
Yeah, they don't care about Florida State. They've made it very clear they don't think that the ACC is a good football conference.
No, they're an SEC and Big Ten.
And differently, but kind of similarly, the March Madness Committee is going to do the same thing. They do the same thing every single year, and I'm so sick of it, where they put the Big Ten, the Pac-12, they give them all more people in the tournament than the ACC, and the ACC ends up with like 3 teams in the Elite Eight. And it happens every single year, and every year they talk about, oh, wow, the ACC is surprisingly doing well. No, it's not surprising.
The ACC is a basketball conference through and through.
It is a better conference than so many of these other conferences.
It's not a better football. It's not a better football conference.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I said, come on, a team from Texas almost won the Atlantic Coast Conference.
In football?
Yeah, SMU, baby.
No, I'm not talking about football.
We didn't talk about SMU. How do you feel about SMU basketball? Are you worried about SMU at all?
I'm not worried about SMU.
Yeah, they're not that good at basketball. They're good at football.
Every game is in conference play, though. Every game's a real game.
I know. I don't. There's some even. You still have to go to Boston College, the elite basketball university that is Boston College.
What is your deal with Boston College? You like Boston College a little bit too much.
We're in Boston, and we went to a few games. All right.
Who's we?
I mean, I just say we, but it's just me. So we became a Boston College.
You in what army, Fred?
What?
You in what army?
It's just me. We just became a Boston College podcast this year because, I don't know. I thought they were going to be better at football than they actually were.
Are you going to live stream at a Boston College game?
I mean, I'll take a selfie there every time I go or, post a picture for the gram. I might get season tickets next year. Well, apparently, if you are a Newton, Massachusetts resident, which no big deal, I am. You can apparently you can get discount season tickets. And I'm pretty sure they play Notre Dame and Clemson at home, so definitely gonna want to be at those games.
Yeah, I know. We looked into me coming to a Boston College game.
It is a $200 ticket for Duke this year.
It
is
a massive amount of money.
I'm not paying that. I'm not gonna lie. I
don't blame you.
I pay $30 for basketball, and that's my cutoff.
For college basketball at BC, I'm with you.
No, not even BC. Just college?
College, yeah. But like
Like
Celtics win, you have,
Purdue, it was $30 the day of, and I was okay with that. Did you ever go to any Big Ten schools for your travels with the team? Or let me rephrase that. What was your favorite road environment? Like, I know nothing will beat Cameron. I agree. But what was your favorite road environment?
well, I did go to Michigan State. If you're asking about Big Ten schools,
Okay,
we played at
that's a good
Michigan
one.
State. We were there when they retired Draymond Green's jersey. That was pretty cool.
Did you get me Draymond?
I didn't get to meet Draymond, but he was there.
All right.
And then so were Clay. I think Steve Kerr. I don't think Steph was there, but a lot of the Warriors were, and this was kind of at the peak of their dominance.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I'm trying to think. I mean, Louisville was one of my favorite road trips ever, just because of how awesome that game itself was.
Yeah.
And UNC is just special because Duke UNC rivalry.
Yeah. And also, that's an iconic gym.
Yeah. But I still think there's still no better place to play than MSG. I know
you gotta go. You ended up at MSG every year somehow, right?
Because Duke owns MSG. Duke almost never loses at MSG.
They win more games than the Knicks do.
The Knicks are great. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah, they're pretty good. It pays me to say the Knicks might be back.
The Knicks are totally back right now. Okay, they are. We have the best offense in the league. We're about to get back.
The Celtics offense will have something else to say.
I think we're the second best offense in the league.
Thank you. Thank you.
The Knicks have the second best offense in the league, and we're about to get back one of the better defenders, center defenders in the league, in Mitchell Robinson. And then our starting lineup is going to be Mitchell Robinson, elite defender, OG Anunoby, arguably the best defender in the league.
Is Carl injured? I don't follow the NBA until after football.
No, Cat's been playing great.
But he's going to come off the bench, you say?
No, I'm just talking about the guy.
Oh, because I was like Mitchell Robinson over. Oh, you're going to start Carl and Mitchell Robinson.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe we're going to bench Mitchell Robinson at the beginning. Maybe Josh Hart goes to the bench. But you're talking about a potential lineup. If you just want to talk about pure athleticism and defense, that has Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby, Bridges, Josh Hart, and if you want to go defensive, you could do Deuce McBride.
Yeah, you got some dudes like.
That's an incredible defensive lineup.
But are you worried Thibodeau is going to burn these guys to the ground by making them go like way too hard for like a meaningless game in the middle of February? Like, be honest, like because he does do that.
He does that, and I know that we're playing more minutes. These guys are playing more minutes than anyone in the league. I think that these dudes will die for this team.
I bet they will. Like Tibbs gets dudes to play. It's just like their bodies are eventually like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
I think the more guys we get back, the deeper we'll be able to play. So, for example, we were playing Jericho Sims in real games at center. Jericho Sims is not a real player, but when we have
a real player,
no, he's not. But we have Cat. Mitchell Robinson and then Precious to take over those leftover minutes, whatever's there. Mm-hmm. Then we have a lot more depth there. We have less of an issue. So the more guys we get back.
I wonder what a tip. I've heard stories. I'm really curious what a Tom Thibodeau practice is like because you definitely hear some stories. I have no one to verify them for me because I don't know any guys who've ever played for Tom Thibodeau.
I don't either, but
I've heard stories. Apparently, when he was in Chicago and Kyle Korver used to just sit in the parking lot like until right before practice, just like, fuck, here we go again.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want a dude who's gonna
he wins games.
These NBA players need to know who their daddy is, and
Tom Thibodeau is that guy. All right, I feel like we've asked you this. We do this at the end of most episodes. We're transitioning back to football. Super Bowl picks. Let me see. I feel like you inserted.
I had Lions.
Let me take a look.
Bills, maybe.
That sounds about right. You had Ravens over Lions. Do you stand? So I actually should probably reverse mine. I had Packers over Bengals. I'm still running with the Packers, but I think it's gonna be Packers over Bills.
Okay.
I'm finally moving on for the Bengals because as much as I love the Bengals, they ain't winning it this year.
Are they even going to make the playoffs?
Slim chance.
Let me see.
Yeah, you had the
So
same
out of
one.
the
You had the
NFC,
same
I have the
guess.
Lions. I'm still feeling great about them. I gotta stick with them for now.
Yeah, even without Montgomery, the Lions are just too good at too many positions.
Yeah, let's look at the AFC. I'm not gonna go Bills because I'm not gonna be too basic, though. That would be an awesome
Yeah,
game.
because you went Ravens.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna say screw it. I'm gonna stick with the Ravens, but I'm gonna be giving it to the Lions.
All
I
right.
got the
Well,
Ravens
that
beating
was your guess last time.
so I'm sticking with it. There
You're
we go.
sticking with your. I like that you're sticking with your. I
Sticking with my
still
chops. I haven't seen anything to convince me that what I said was crazy. I know that
no.
the Ravens have more ground to cover than I originally thought,
They're
but
still they're
Lions are
still a good
feeling good.
team, and like I don't want to see the AFC is just such a stat con. Like the NFC is a little more manageable. Like yeah, you have like your Lions, you have your Eagles, but like as we see, like both teams are beatable. No one's stopping like the. I mean, the Bills are beatable, but like when they're on a roll, they're the best team in my opinion. But I'm still that's why I'm going Packers over Bills because I just don't see. I think this year where Josh Allen finally gets over the hump, and then he's going to finally get like a monster contract extension.
Yeah, I'd have no reason to argue with you. Josh Allen's been so good. The Bills have been awesome. I'm just not trying to switch onto the bandwagon because I wasn't on it early.
Yeah.
Um,
What happens? Like, does New York City get excited when the Bills are good, or is it just a completely different world? Like, are there any Bills fans like stoked in New York City, or is it just?
I'm sure those people exist,
I
but
know there's a
they
Bills
don't.
bar, but like, I just like curious. Like, you're technically in the same state. I know you're 8 hours away. I know it's a completely different world. I went to Buffalo recently. We're a Buffalo podcast, by the way.
We're a Buffalo podcast.
I
No, you
love
can't. You
Buffalo.
can't just make these sweeping statements halfway through.
I love no, not the Buffalo Bills. We're a City of Buffalo
City
podcast.
of Buffalo. Okay, that's a first.
We love the wings. Love the wings. Love the Sabres arena is pretty cool. Labatt Blue Light, great
Wait,
beer.
by wings, do you mean like the food?
The Buffalo Wings, yeah, fantastic.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, this has been awesome. Always happy to have you on the show. Talk a little ball. Hope Duke continues to play well. I'm telling you, the Ducks, they're coming.
Ducks are potentially coming.
They are
No,
coming.
they're not coming.
All
But
right.
that's fine.
All right. It's been awesome. I'll see you later. We did our college football preview last week, so we're going to dive straight into the NFL. We got some exciting games coming up. It all started on Thursday. It all starts on Thursday with the Broncos and Chargers. The Broncos, if they can find a way to win 10 games with Bo Nix in his rookie season, that's a great season for them. I think this is an opportunity for Bo Nix to shine in prime time. Lock up rookie of the year because I called it. I'm just saying I knew it all along. If he has a monster game, he's winning rookie of the year. I don't care about Jane Daniels. It's Bo Nix all the way. As for the Chargers, they need to win games to keep their split playoff hopes alive. I don't think they have enough in them this year, but I think they're going to be good for years to come. Moving into Saturday, that's right. We got 2 games on the same day as the college football playoff. And on top of that, these are good games. What are we doing, NFL? We knew the college football playoffs were this day. Why not put these games on Sunday? It's not a big deal. Or at least just put 2 bad games no one cares about on this day. That being said, we got Chiefs and Texans. Who knows if Patrick Mahomes will play? I have a sense he probably will. And the Texans locked up the AFC South. So, I mean, it will be a good game. It can't really affect seeding because the Texans aren't close enough to the Chiefs to really affect seeding, even if they win. So, it might matter, like, record wise for the Chiefs. But again, like, it's going to be a good game, but it's not going to have as big of implications as we would like. We also have a big AFC North game with the Steelers and Ravens. This is a huge game, big playoff implications. I do think the Steelers can't be good offenses, and TJ Watt might not play. So I think this has the makings of a good game, but I think the Ravens are going to win. I think their offense is too good. I think the Steelers' offense isn't good enough. I mean, the good thing is I have 2 TVs, but this is ridiculous. 2 good NFL games on the same day as 3 college football playoff games. Why? don't even get me started because we're moving to Sunday and the games, none of the games are good. Eagles versus Commanders, I guess, in the morning could be fun, but the Eagles are just better. The Browns and Bengals is always fun, but the Browns somehow always beat the Bengals. But if the Bengals want to keep their playoff hopes alive, this is it right here. Even the afternoon games are not that great. Maybe the Seahawks will ruin the Vikings parade, but who cares? The Vikings are in the playoffs. The Seahawks are probably not in the playoffs. I mean, if Gino's healthy, maybe they can make a run, but he got injured, and I don't think Sam Howell's going to do it. With 49ers and Dolphins, on paper, sounded great. Probably the start of a season. This is a game we all circled, but both teams are injured or not playing great. So who knows how this game will go. And on Sunday night, we had the Buccaneers and Cowboys. The Buccaneers have a chance to win their division, and the Cowboys are just playing for pride. They're not playing for much else at this point. But on Monday night, we got a Packers taking on the Saints. I'm hoping for a blowout just because it's the Packers. But also, if we win this game, we're in the playoffs. We'll lock it up. So that game against the Vikings will only matter for seeding, which, I still want to beat the Vikings, but I don't want to have to beat the Vikings to make the playoffs. The Vikings are really good. But the fact that there is a chance the Packers make the playoff, well, not a chance. They will make the playoffs and they win this game. This game matters. That's our show for this week. Thank you so much for watching. We might not be back next week. It is the holidays, but we will be back soon. Big Fred, over and out.